我是两公约施行监督联盟的召集人，我是高永成。
I'm the convener of Covenant Watch. I'm Gao Yongchen. I myself am a lawyer. On behalf of the Covenant Watch, on behalf of the more than 40 members of our Covenant Watch, I would like to thank you for coming, and we admire you for what you have done for the promotion of human rights in Taiwan by coming here. And what I want to say at first is I would like to remind you of the effectiveness of the two covenants in Taiwan. In Taiwan, we have an implementation act for the two covenants, which is a very special act. It is different from other countries when they incorporate international covenants into their domestic law. Taiwan has not been able to participate in the international human rights arena, and therefore there are some doubts and controversies around the effect of the two covenants in Taiwan. I think this very issue was already brought out when we ratified CEDAW in Taiwan. The two covenants, again, are international treaties, and therefore brings about the issue of its effect. So that's why Taiwan established an implementation act in order to incorporate the provisions of the two covenants in Taiwan's law. And not only the provisions of the two covenants are incorporated, the general comments made by the two treaty bodies have the same effects as the provisions of the two covenants. Now, you have my statement already, in fact, in your hand. So I would like to use my statements that you have. I want to talk about number 3 of LOI. And we have compiled alternative replies, which you can see on your table as well. So, in principle, the NGO's views on number 4 and number 5 are the same. We agree that the effect of the two covenants are as high as domestic laws, are higher than domestic laws in Taiwan. And in December 2012, when President Ma Ying-jeou participated in the press conference of the publication of the national report, he stated that the two covenants have a prior standing than domestic laws. And President Ma also thinks that even though the Legislative Yuan did not follow Article 8 of the Implementation Act to review all the laws and regulations that are inconsistent with the two covenants, this very fact does not affect the effectiveness of the two covenants, and the government should still apply the provisions in the two covenants. I agree with President Ma, but what I have to add here is that the government did not follow President Ma's instruction. The government agencies still not see the covenants as they have prior standing than domestic laws. If you refer to the LOI ICCPR number 65's reply, you will see that the government's reply for number 65 is in contradiction to its reply to number 4 and 5. In other words, the government thinks that the Assembly Act is not consistent to Article 21 of ICCPR. The government agencies still use the Assembly Act to investigate and even to prosecute the people. This shows that government agencies do not have adequate understanding of the two covenants. And I also want to raise that Taiwan, of course, is not number one in protecting human rights. And another situation in Taiwan is that on the surface, it seems that the Taiwanese government is good at protecting human rights. Yet, in reality, the implementation is not as good as it should be. And the judges or the courts do not have in-depth understanding of the two covenants. Even though the courts sometimes rule that there's something wrong with administrative authority, the administrative authority or agencies sometimes ignore the verdict or the decisions made by the courts. And therefore, the Taiwanese government has a lot to do in implement Article 2 of ICCPR. Thank you very much.